And let's not forget about everything that did happen with Rachel Zegler after making this movie very political, after tying political statements.
There are few moments in show business more haunting than standing center stage in front of a sea of empty chairs. That moment, surreal, humbling, and inescapable, is the reality Rachel Zegler found herself in during the launch of her West End debut in Evita at the London Palladium. What should have been her grand theatrical rebirth after a slew of on-camera controversies instead turned into the clearest sign yet that Hollywood's latest it girl has lost her grip on the IK audience. Rachel didn't just hit another PR snag. She didn't stumble on Twitter or get clipped out of context in an interview. This time, the backlash wasn't digital. It was physical, palpable, measurable in real time, night after night, as one of the most iconic theaters in the world struggled to fill more than a fraction of its 2,286 seats, even with tickets as low as $29.50. Despite being cast in one of the most beloved musicals of all time, with an orchestra behind her and a spotlight fixed on center stage, Rachel stood mostly alone. Literally. It's not the kind of thing marketing spin can fix. Unlike streaming numbers or box office metrics, theater doesn't lie. You can't Photoshop a full house. You either sell the seats or you don't. And in Zegler's case, the numbers were brutal. Despite media buzz and months of promotion, her run in Evita is being called one of the most underwhelming debuts the London stage has seen in years. Some nights had entire rows unclaimed, premium seats untouched. And with show dates spanning June through August, availability wasn't just high, it was overwhelming. This isn't just a play flopping, it's a pattern, a career on pause. A public growing tired, Zegler rose to prominence through Steven Spielberg's West Side Story reboot, a film she carried vocally and visually. For a brief moment, she was heralded as the next Hollywood darling. A newcomer with grace, talent, and a voice that could sell a generation on musicals again. But then came Snow White. The remake, which Disney positioned as a feminist reinvention of the classic fairy tale, quickly unraveled in the public eye. And Zegler, unfortunately, was at the center of the collapse. It wasn't the story update that enraged audiences. It was the way Rachel presented it. "Don't need no man," she quipped in press interviews. "The prince is a stalker." Suddenly, nostalgia became contempt. What was meant to be a celebration of girlhood and romance transformed into a lecture about modern womanhood, and viewers didn't take kindly to the shift. The backlash was swift and sustained, compounded by viral clips of her interviews and a growing perception that she didn't just want to reimagine the character, she wanted to mock the original. And now, that fallout is catching up with her in real time. On TikTok, a clip of Zegler pacing awkwardly during a performance went viral, not because of her vocals, but because of how strangely disconnected it all looked. Fans noted her distant demeanor. Commenters compared her to someone improvising through a breakdown. Meanwhile, the same media outlets that once proclaimed her as Hollywood's next royalty now seem confused. How did the girl with the golden ticket fall this far, this fast? Part of the answer lies in the dissonance between her actual talent and her public persona. Multiple theatergoers, including fans, have spoken out to say that Rachel is undeniably gifted. Her voice, they say, is extraordinary. Her range and stage presence are strong. One fan, who met her after a Broadway performance of Romeo and Juliet, even described her as sweet, genuine, and unbelievably talented. So why the rejection? It comes down to perception and connection. Rachel Zegler, despite her voice, despite her filmography, has never quite clicked with the audience beyond her early fans. Her interviews come across as cold. Her public statements seem overcoached or too political. What's missing isn't talent, it's trust. And you can't market your way into trust. You earn it through humility, consistency, and knowing when to step back. And here's the tragic irony. Rachel didn't need to dig her own grave. She had the tools. She had the roles. What she lacked was the ability, or perhaps the willingness, to read the room. When Backlash to Snow White began, she could have softened her tone, clarified her intent, or simply let the film speak for itself. Instead, she doubled down, mocked the original, leaned into her defiance. And once you make the audience feel like they're being talked down to. Good luck winning them back. Hollywood, for its part, is still trying to make it work. Insiders suggest studios are clinging to her because they've already invested too much. Spielberg reportedly vouched for her Snow White casting, and now that the film has tanked, reportedly costing Disney nearly $600 million when all costs are tallied, there's a quiet panic among the execs. They don't just need Rachel to succeed, they need her to justify their decisions. But audiences are smarter than that. They see the machinery, they smell the desperation. And the louder Hollywood pushes Rachel Zegler, the more people pull away. Because this doesn't feel like an organic rise, it feels forced. And that's the kind of star building that never lasts. Even more damning, rumors now swirl that her co-star in Snow White, Gal Gadot, was less than thrilled with the experience. In a recent interview, Gadot vaguely criticized the lack of teamwork and support during production. She didn't name names. She didn't have to. Which brings us back to the London stage and the empty chairs and the sound of one person clapping in a room meant for thousands. For Rachel Zegler, this isn't just a rough patch. It's a defining moment, a chance to step back, reassess, and, if she's willing, rediscover the humility and gratitude that once made her endearing. Because the truth is, she still has time. Talent doesn't expire. Audiences forgive, but only if you meet them halfway. And right now, they're not waiting for another speech. They're waiting for sincerity. What do you think? Has Rachel Zegler been unfairly targeted, or is this the result of Hollywood forcing a star the audience never asked for? Should she take a step back, or push forward harder than ever? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like if you're watching this story unfold with popcorn in hand, and subscribe for more deep dives into Hollywood's biggest transformations and missteps. Because this isn't just a play, it's a wake-up call, and the spotlight doesn't wait.